I have walked through corridors gilded with silence, where portraits of ancestors gaze upon my unsure heart, their eyes whispering of duties and destinies I never chose. Yet even as I curtsied before crowns heavier than my breath, a quiet rebellion bloomed inside me, the knowledge that love, not lineage, was the truest nobility. I did not learn this from tutors or thrones, but from you, whose laughter found me in the folds of my loneliness, soft as dawn upon marble halls. You looked at me not as a princess, but as a girl who wanted to be understood, and in that gaze I felt my story rewrite itself. Every word I ever spoke after you entered my world carried a tremor of your name. Every vow I kept was only a way to keep the hope of you alive. You became the truth my crown could not contain, the wild geography of my heart that no kingdom's map could claim. I think of the way your presence turned ordinary air into gold, how time rearranged itself to fit the rhythm of your nearness. In that stolen world between dusk and duty, where no one called me your highness, I was simply yours. You taught me that the smallest gestures, a shared glance, a whispered word, a hand brushed against mine, could bear more meaning than royal decrees sealed with wax. You were a secret only my soul could read, yet somehow the stars seemed to understand. I remember walking through the palace garden, pretending to admire roses, while listening for the echo of your voice in the wind. Each step on gravel was an unanswered question. Would you come again? Even the nightingales seemed to hush when I thought of you, as if my longing alone could make the world stop breathing. Every letter I never sent to you still lingers in my mind, folded between layers of hope and fear. I wrote them under candlelight, hiding my trembling heart behind royal parchment. I wanted to tell you how every rule of etiquette became impossible after knowing you, how I curtsied to ghosts when I wished to fall into your arms instead. There were moments I almost broke my composure when someone mentioned your name and my heart betrayed its station. I'd press my hands together to still their shaking, to remind myself that love for you was not permitted, but still it bloomed like ivy through the cracks of reason. You were my forbidden prayer, my confession sealed in silence, the melody I dared not sing in chapel walls. And yet, in every reflection, mirror, river, moonlight, I saw only the shadow of you. Sometimes I imagine a simpler world, one without heralds or titles, where our laughter belongs to no one but ourselves. I would braid my hair with your promises and wear them instead of jewels. We would walk barefoot across meadows, and I would tell you how the weight of crowns means nothing compared to the lightness of your hand in mine. You would speak of the future as if it were a field we could plant together, not a destiny etched in marble. I would believe you because your voice carries the kind of truth that kings cannot command. I would forget the language of diplomacy and remember only the sound of your heartbeat, steady and sure. That, to me, would be the anthem of peace. That, to me, would be home. Even now, when I walk through echoing chambers filled with gold, I long for the scent of earth on your skin, the honesty of your laughter. My attendants ask why I pause by the balcony each evening, but I cannot tell them that I wait for a ghost of warmth that once stood there beside me. You are everywhere and nowhere, woven into the air I breathe, hidden in the lull between my words. I remember the night you told me that love is not something we choose, but something that claims us when the stars align. I thought it poetic then, but now I understand it as prophecy. No matter the distance, no matter the crown, every thought I chase finds its way back to you, as rivers find the sea. There is a loneliness to royalty they do not warn us about, a quiet ache that sits beneath the satin and ceremony. But you filled that silence with meaning. You made me see that love is not rebellion, but revelation. You turned my duty into devotion, not to a nation, but to a heartbeat that matched my own. When the court expected grace, you taught me to laugh. When they demanded restraint, you taught me to feel. You changed the way I move through the world. I no longer glide. I walk with purpose, as if the ground itself were made of your name. Sometimes I think the earth remembers where your feet have been, for the flowers bloom brighter along those paths, and I, bound by grace, follow where the scent of your spirit leads. In my dreams, we speak without fear. I call you by your name, not in whispers but in song. You tell me that love, when pure, transcends borders, that it can survive the weight of time and crowns. I reach for you, and you are there, solid and smiling, your hand warm against mine. I awake with tears on my cheeks, unsure if they belong to joy or longing. The morning sun filters through the lace curtains, painting my world in gold. And I realize that even daylight seems to remember your touch. I dress for duty, for diplomacy, for display, but beneath the silks beats a heart that still kneels for you alone. Every step I take toward ceremony feels like a step away from myself. Yet still I walk, because all roads, no matter how royal, lead back to the thought of you. I once believed that destiny was written in bloodlines, that love was a privilege reserved for poets, not princesses. But you shattered that illusion with one look, one moment of unguarded truth. You became the compass I never knew I needed, guiding me not by direction but by devotion. Even the sea seems to speak of you when it sighs against the cliffs. I find traces of you in candle flames, in music drifting from unseen rooms, in every note of longing that passes through the wind. You are the geography of my yearning, the destination my heart charts endlessly. If ever I am lost, I need only close my eyes and listen. Your voice is the north I return to, your name the prayer that finds me again. They say a princess must never let her heart decide, but how could I not, when every breath since you became mine has been an act of remembering? I see your reflection in stained glass, your shadow in moonlight upon marble. The world may think I stand still in grace, but my heart runs barefoot toward you, defying the decorum of kingdoms. I speak to you in my mind, as if you stand beside me. Did you eat today? Do you still smile at dawn? It's foolish, perhaps, to love across such distance, but my heart knows no better. It beats for you as surely as the sun rises, unaware of rules, untouched by reason. In its rhythm lives the quiet rebellion of my devotion, steady, infinite, unrepentant. There are nights when I stand by my window and whisper your name to the stars, wondering if the wind carries it to you. I imagine you, somewhere beneath the same sky, pausing for no reason, sensing my call. Perhaps you look up too, and for a fleeting second, the universe folds itself to let our hearts touch. I believe love is made of such moments, small, invisible miracles that defy distance. If I could, I would command the stars themselves to bear my message, that you are remembered in every breath, that even silence speaks of you. My kingdom knows nothing of this quiet empire I have built within myself, an empire ruled not by decree, but by love unspoken, yet eternal. When I was a child, they told me roads were made for conquering, for reaching thrones and treaties. No one said they could also lead to hearts, but yours is the road that changed my journey forever. Every path I take curves secretly toward your memory. When I cross courtyards or hear the distant bells of evening, I feel your presence beside me, patient as faith. You once told me that love does not demand possession, only remembrance. I understand now. Loving you is not about holding you. It is about being held by the memory of who we were. The world may never know, but I do. I carry you like sunlight beneath my ribs. You are the pulse that turns every royal road into a pilgrimage home. There are whispers that I will one day be queen, and yet, what use is a crown if it cannot call your name? What comfort is power if it cannot summon your laughter? I would trade every jewel for one moment of truth with you again. But love, I know, is not measured in bargains. It exists beyond exchange. You gave me something no kingdom could, the freedom to feel. In the quiet of dawn, when my reflection blurs in the mirror, I see not a princess, but a woman who once loved deeply, bravely, without regret. That, to me, is sovereignty, for what is rule, if not mastery over one's own heart? And mine, though claimed by nations, belongs still, irrevocably, to you. So here I remain, between duty and desire, between crown and confession. The court hums around me, unaware that every graceful motion hides a longing unending. Yet I have made peace with this ache. It is not sorrow, it is remembrance. You live in the unseen chambers of my being, in every heartbeat that dares to dream of you still. Time will move, seasons will change, and the crown will claim me as its own. But even then, in the silence between ceremonies, I will feel your name hum through my veins like prayer. Because love like ours does not end. It echoes eternally in the spaces where words cannot reach. All roads I walk will always, somehow, lead me back to you.